Are you paying too much in property taxes? Well, after watching this video, you may discover that you are, and hopefully this can save you tens of thousands of dollars over time. Whether you own one property or you own 100, paying more in property taxes than you should be is just not right. And I'm going to show you how this has come about as a result of our crazy market boom and bust, and I'm also going to show you what you can do about it. Hi, I'm Phil Pustiowski with Freedom Mentor, and I'm excited to share this message with you because it can save you a lot of money, and it can be helpful to homeowners as well as real estate investors. So let's get started. First, let's talk about how property taxes are calculated. Property taxes. When I say property taxes, I'm talking about local. Everybody has to pay local property taxes on any real estate they own. This is a big place where local governments get their money from, is from the property taxes. So here's how they do it. They have a tax rate, and that tax rate can vary based on whether or not you live in the home or not. In certain states they have homestead. And it also, there's different tax rates depending on what school zone you're in, those sorts of things. This is where politicians like to focus their energy. And they talk about ideas, that you hear phrases like, taxes are going up, taxes are going down, I reduce the taxes, those kind of political phrases all focus on this thing called tax rate. But property taxes are a function of not only tax rate, but also the tax appraisal. And that's where we're going to spend our time on this video. Tax appraisal. What is this? Well, every single piece of real estate, whether it's a vacant lot, it's a commercial shopping center, it's a single family home, it's a condo, any real property in your county has a tax value assessed to it. When I say tax value, I mean what the tax assessor thinks the property value is. So they are valuing the property, and they are then sticking that number in as part of this equation. So what happens oftentimes is, and I've seen this happen, people will get something in the mail that shows that their tax appraisal has gone up, right? So they've got a new value, it's gone up. And so they get excited, they think, all right, my property went up in value, when they really shouldn't be excited. Because what happens when your property value, your tax appraisal goes up? Yeah, your property taxes go up as well. So it's not necessarily as good of news as you'd like to hear. All right, well, why are property taxes potentially higher than they should be? Why might you be paying more in property taxes than you should be? Well, let's talk about that next. Okay, I'm going to do a quick graph here. We'll do the best I can to make it quick. All right, so what you have on this side of the graph is you have values, right? And so this means values. This is higher values, lower values. And then on this side, we're going to just talk about, this is going to be time. So this is the year 2000, and this will be today, all right? All right, so this is time. All right, so where were the property values in the year 2000? They're on their way up. Now we get to about midway, 2005, 2006. So real estate's up to there. And then what happens? It takes a nosedive, doesn't it? Boo! And then it kind of levels off, and then you go into today, and I wouldn't say it's going up that high, but all right, real estate values are starting to rebound in many places. We don't know if it's going to level off, it's going to continue going up. But what we do know is that it took a humongous nosedive. All right. Now, what's the problem with all this? Well, here's the problem. When the property values went up, the tax appraisals went up to match the value of the real estate going up. Well, what happens when you have a booming real estate market with high tax appraisals? You have a lot more money to spend. So the local government's got more money to blow. My mother was a part of the local government at one time, and she shared something with me that I thought was just absolutely ridiculous. And she was describing to me how the local governments spend their money. And she said, Phil, it's the weirdest thing. You are given a budget, and if you don't spend all of that budget, they will bring down your budget for next year. So everybody in every department is trying to blow all their money that they have in their budget. Because if they don't, they won't get as much the next year. So I almost get penalized for being frugal. Like, I didn't need an extra computer, Phil, but they wanted me to get an extra one because I need to spend that money. And I told them, I said, look, what if I don't spend the money this year and I save it for next year, and so I can add it to next year, and so then I can get a really nice computer next year for the department. And the local government told her, no, if you don't spend the money now, you won't get the money next year. Isn't that crazy? Now, that may not be the way it works in all governments, but that's pretty standard for local government systems. They have budgets, and if you don't spend the money, then you don't get that same amount next year. Meanwhile, life is moving on, so there's always new projects and new things that need to be developed and paid for. So government spending is always going up, regardless of the economy. So if the economy tanks, government's got more spending. Economy's tanking, government spending continues to rise. Whereas if you have a small business and the economy's tanking, you reduce expenses, don't you? Government has trouble reducing expenses. Okay, so how does that relate to all this? Well, as the market climbed, they had more money. As they had more money, they created more budgets. They create more budgets with their more money, so now they have a bigger responsibility next year than they did the year before. Well, what happens? The market nosedives, right? So, but they have expenses. They always use new budgets, new programs, new initiatives. So what did they do? They left the tax appraisals up here at the high market value rate while the real market values dropped. So where should these be? These should have matched the drop in market. The tax appraisal should have, but they didn't. In many parts of this country, they stayed up here. Now, they may have dropped a little bit, but they didn't drop as significantly as the actual real property and market values. And why didn't they do that? Because they needed the money. So rather than try to have a huge political problem on their hands by raising tax rates, you leave those the same and you just leave your tax appraisals up high. You might be spending too much in property taxes. A lot of people in this country are stuck in this right now. So what can you do about it? Well, the main thing you can do is you can try to dispute the tax appraisal. Now, you may only get once a year to do that, and you may have already missed your chance for the year of 2013. However, you might be able to do it the next year after that. So you're going to have to dispute the tax appraisal. How are you going to dispute it? With comparable sales. Just prove it. Prove what the market value is. The tax appraisal should not be more than the market value. In most cases, it should be a little bit less. So that's the first thing you can do. You can dispute it. Now, if the tax appraiser dispute kind of like period of time is a year from now, well, you can try to call them, see if you can still pull it off, but they may not make any changes until the next year. But this right here, this could not only save you money, it could also save your friends and family, who else you know that live around there. Let everybody else, let your neighbors know. Especially if you pull up comparable sales, you can help your neighbors out. Sometimes it's a lot better to give than to get. Go help somebody next door. Maybe you've had a little falling out with your neighbor. Help save them $500 a year. They'll be your best friend. Okay, so this right here, this whole concept of saving on property taxes, we're focused on this tax appraisal. That's what it boils down to. I don't know much about reducing tax rates. That's for a different video probably. But if you can at least get your tax appraisal down to what the real market value is, that's going to save you a lot of money. And also, this is causing some other problems for investors like me, and maybe if you're investing right now, and that is homeowners right now, and that I'm talking to, they are basing what they want to sell their property of based on this tax appraisal. And I'm telling these sellers, I'm saying, look, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here, but your tax appraisal is double what the real value of this property is. And I'll say, look, here's some comparable sales. I can prove it. You're paying double in property taxes, Mr. Seller, than you should be, which makes them very upset. And granted, rightfully so. So this is causing other problems for investors as well. It's not just costing us money each month. It's giving an inflated view to a seller of what the property value is. And that causes all sorts of problems because the seller ends up being greedy, not selling it for a long time. They may need to get rid of their property quickly for certain financial reasons. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Phil Pustiovsky with Freedom Mentor. If you want to learn more about real estate investing, I've written a fantastic book. There you go. There's my little plug for that. How to Be a Real Estate Investor is the name of the book. You can get it on Amazon. It's 200 pages of some of the best real estate investing advice, and it's so inexpensive to get access to it. Head over to Amazon, grab that book. Also, if you like this video, check out plenty of others. We got a ton of videos on this YouTube channel. Check them out. You'll see I'm really excited and involved and passionate about this subject of real estate investing. So hopefully you're entertained while you're learning on the videos. And also, if you want to learn more about what we're doing in coaching and mentoring people, head over to freedommentor.com. Learn more about our program and what we're doing for people. All right, I'm Phil Pustiovsky with Freedom Mentor. I hope this little video saves you some money on property taxes. Maybe it'll save some of the dollars that your neighbors are spending on their property taxes. And hopefully, maybe if we get this out to enough people, we can straighten out these local governments and at least they'll get the tax appraisals down where they should be. All right. Thanks for watching and have a great day.